And then that eventually moved into Monkey Broadcast, which, oh man, that was a...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
We've had 3 seasons of Monkey Broadcast, although, to be fair, it's more that, I think technically both seasons 1 and 2 more or less started in the same year. I just split it up because there was this gap where it wasn't really getting enough views and it was a nightmare for me to edit, so I was wondering what the freaking point was and just cancelled it then and there.
Yeah, I remember that. It was also a monster to record.
Yeah, because for those of you who haven't been around to my channel long or have not been watching this very long, just to explain, the first episodes, I had so many different sections, because first of all, the format we have now is that me and Sven do one full in-depth review, and then we do the quick-fire reviews for all the rest. We originally did everything we had to review in depth, so all the individual sections were literally the thing. We'd have to go through the video game section first, then the film section, then the television section, and finally the manga section, which would often be the longest because we'd be talking about the weekly updates and whatnot. Then on top of that, we'd go into news, because for some reason, despite the fact that I knew how long it was going to take to edit, I had a news section for us to talk about. It was so pointless, because by the time I finished editing it, half the news was out of date.
Yeah. Oh, I think we've been doing better with the smaller broadcasts myself.
Yeah, and then it was only after that we moved on to the discussion, and I forget what we even talked about in some of all the stuff. It's probably not worth going back, but yeah, actually, thinking about it, I think the first discussion was your kind of standard, what are we looking forward to in the new year, and that went on forever.
Yeah, I think that was the discussion. I can't even really clearly remember it now. I'd have to look back, and that would be a chore, because there's a lot of parts to those old ones.
Yeah, I tried to only put it because I wasn't getting enough views. I tried making it an MP3 download only. That's why in the memories of 2010 video, there's our sections which says no picture, because at the time I just go, okay, the pictures are taking way too long and it's mostly a podcast, so I'll just make an audio download. But it didn't seem to be catching on, so I figured screw it and then left it at that. But then I wasn't planning to revive it, but I actually think it was Sven who said, you know, I do miss when talking about manga, so I thought, oh, well, I'll make the Monkey Broadcast light, which was going to be just the reviews.
It's funny because I think it was inspired by how much Naruto and Bleach were sucking that I just kind of wanted to rant about them. And that was originally just the idea for it. I just wanted to rant about manga, but then in came Monkey Broadcasting, and I was like...
Yeah, I do agree, it's one of those things. I think it was when I started adding the Q&A and managed to get the audience interactivity back in that we actually did get more views for it. In fact, one of the things I may plan to do in the new year is try and find a way to increase the audience interaction, because, yeah, I don't know whether it's because some people don't have a strong internet connections or they kind of get tired because it is a very long video, but if you ever look at the view counts on my videos, in Monkey Broadcast, the first 2 videos of the Q&A get very high ratings, and it gradually decreases by the time we get to the discussion.
Yeah, the point that it has like 17 views by the end.
Yeah, it's kind of depressing really, but oh well. But yeah, it's kind of funny. When you look at Monkey Broadcast, you can kind of see how the channel evolved in that sense, because we kind of went from just 2 guys ranting aimlessly to something that's a more structured show, and hey, the fact that we managed to get Linkara on for a show, that was a...
Yeah, that was a milestone in and of itself, something worth celebrating even though the recording went awry that day.
Yeah, although I think to be fair, he's the one who does accept the most requests for podcasts. It's usually like one every month in his vlog, but I'm going to keep it. I'm going to try and find some new guests to come on for the new year, and maybe 1 or 2 guest hosts, although we've kind of had some, I won't name names, but we've kind of had some teething problems. Sorry about that. Yeah, I won't go into details because there's no ill feelings on them, but I will just say that if me or Sven do offer you the chance to be a guest host, you've got to understand, you do need to show up on time, guys.
Yeah, Jonin already goes through enough technical difficulties as it is.
Yeah, but yeah, I shouldn't be complaining about them. The point is, it's kind of interesting that we managed to get this far and it's still managing to maintain. I think Monkey Broadcast has now got to the stage where it's at least manageable in editing process, and it's starting to get some popular views, and there are running jokes. Like, I remember when I used to still have the images when everyone cheered that you finally had your own WTF base.
Yeah, that was great. I remember the reactions, and they were pretty much my reactions.
Yeah. Oh dear. Ironic as well, that was the time when it was because of that WTF face that I had to set the law of, please guys, can you only send us one question per month, because that was one of the times it went into extreme overload.
Yeah, that entire Monkey Broadcast was basically Q&A.
Pretty much. I mean, don't get us wrong, we are absolutely flattered that you guys actually care enough about our opinion on this. Words cannot describe how grateful we are for that. It's one of those things that you still can't believe. It's like a few years later, wow, people actually give a damn about what I have to say.
Yeah, and in this case, 110 people give a damn about what we say.
Yeah, I know. It's absolutely incredible, although in terms of subscriptions, I think most of them are from VGT, to be fair, but oh well.
Yeah, those videos do seem to get the most attention.
Yeah, well, it's kind of understandable. They're the videos I tend to put the most work in, and actually, before this, I had an update. They'd say, to quote my own update, put my ego in my hands and said, what do you think about me, how can I improve, etc. One of the things with people is, I love your videos, but could you please start releasing VGT more often?
Yeah, make a Shadowrunner.
Yeah. It's kind of this thing, because on the one hand, I really do want to release VGT, because I've got so many ideas for future episodes, and I want to get it up and running, but unfortunately, VGT takes a lot of time to make, and all of my time is being eaten up by everything else. Because if you ignore the other videos I make on this channel, I'm currently working as a freelance animator and a part-time admin guy, and I also have a webcomic I do, and there are several other projects I do for other people, so my time's kind of eaten up, so that's why I'm not able to stick to a regular schedule for VGT, although, again, foreshadowing, in the new year I do plan to kind of find a way around that, so that, okay, they won't be really big extravaganza VGT episodes, but they will be something close to VGT.
Yeah. So, it'll be something to keep people sated.
Yeah, yeah, that's the best way to describe it. There's also a new review series I'm trying to come up with for Blip, although it's actually really sad that the two things that are currently holding it back now are intro and how to display the final score. I'm not kidding, those are the two things that's holding back the first episode right now. Everything else has been fully edited.
Wow, that's painful, man.
Yeah, it doesn't help that a lot of the time, if you notice in the commentaries I'm criticizing myself, it's because I'm a horrible perfectionist, so whenever I look back at my old work, I always go, oh no, this is horrible, why did I think that was a good idea, why was I so lazy, put some more energy into your voice, darn it.
Well, we can share that trait, because you would not believe how perfectionist I am.
Yeah. Yeah, even though VGT, that's a bothering. I want to agree with some people that Mirror's Edge was not my strongest one, and I'm just going to pull something up here, because, again, it's nice to have some comments, and Roy Heavenstone 2 also sent me my private message and any good comment on things to improve upon. One of the things he mentions that got better over the course of the series up until the Yoga Battle 64 review was he describes it as the overabundance of cutaway gags. I'm not 100% sure what he means by that, but I think it is definitely about that. By Yoga Battle 64, I was caring more about how, I guess we could say, I was caring more about critical thinking in that sense. Like, I was caring a bit more about how I expressed it rather than just, here's the plot, ha 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 ha. Which was pretty much what I was doing for the Mirror's Edge VGT, I'll be honest.
Well, the thing is about those videos, I still personally I'm not really in much position to judge you because I look back on my old videos here and I cringe.
Yeah.
Just at the sound of my voice.
I think to be fair, we all have though. I do consider VGT a gag series in its own way, so I do try to find some comedy, but over the years, as I'm starting to find my own style and starting to sort of move away from those who inspired me, I kind of managed to find my own footing and balance of, okay, I want to have elements like this, I want to focus a bit more on, kind of analysing and reviewing something as well as making people laugh. So, yeah, there'll still be the sketches and comedy, but in future VGTs, I'm going to focus more on critically analysing something of why it makes me angry rather than just going, RAGE!
Yeah, just more of a review show, really, instead of a rage show.
Yeah, a review show with gags, let's put it that way. And a review show that spoils the entire plot. But anyway.
Well, you can't really review a whole story without spoiling a few eggs.
Yeah, it's true.
I think that's how that saying goes.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. There have actually been many other videos that kind of have highs and lows. Trader Spot is one of those. I mean, for some videos like the London Olympics one and the Jonin Country Returns videos, those got really high and had a lot of comments. Others quickly disappeared, I'll be honest.
Yeah, which is kind of sad.
True, but there have been a lot of times when I've just been experimenting with different types of videos. Like, I think the Trader Spot was more of an experiment, which I think I probably could have put a bit more thought and planning into. Because a lot of the jokes I did just make off the cuff, and I don't think all of them were that good, to be honest.
Well, I still look at him, he could crush Silver's head with his nose.
Oh, yeah, that was one of my personal favorites of that one, I will admit. Oh, dear. Oh, actually, one other thing here before I move away from VGT completely. There is one other thing Roy Havenstone 2 mentions, which he mentions itself, it's a nitpicky, but he does say that I could improve the voice acting, which is kind of true, although he does admit that it's kind of nitpicky, and he kind of understands that it is mostly just me trying to stretch myself over all of the characters, which doesn't always work.
He didn't say anything about me, did he?
No. He didn't say any of us were bad. He just said he can tell we're having a hard time stretching ourselves over so many characters. That was the...
That's fair enough. I've always kind of thought that about my own range, too.
Yeah, we have to admit, we're okay actors, but we do need to work on our range a bit. And there have been people suggesting I should go out and scout voice actors or something. That doesn't work, and I do really appreciate the offers from Roy Havenstone 2, Flame, etc. to do voice act roles. The only problem is, the reason why I originally was going to do that for the Yoga Battle for the 64 review, in fact I was desperately chasing after a female voice actor saying, please can you do these lines, because I did not want to do the female voice, for obvious reasons. But yeah, the only problem was that delayed the release of that episode by even longer, because I was desperately trying to get anyone to agree and then waiting for them to deliver lines, etc. So that's the only reason I have reservations about that, because when it's just one line out of context, I often wonder, do I really need to chase someone down and get lines for them for something that's only going to be on screen for a second and something that no one's going to really appreciate as part of the actual game anyway?
Yeah, well, I suppose it could be considered a point of refinement, just fine-tuning the series, but...
Yeah, that's a good point. It's something to keep in mind. In the future, if I do get a game like that that has a lot of characters I need to voice, then yeah, I will definitely consider branching out.
Yeah, and if people make offers and you know that they can participate, then actually that is probably a good idea to take their offers.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm going to hold you all to your offers, especially when I get to Fire Emblem. Oh, God!
Oh, once you get to Fire Emblem, I would so happily help you cast that, because I've been dying to do Fire Emblem dubbing.
Yeah, I'm more than welcome for any help in that one, especially there are a large cast, considering Radiant Dawn. I mean, I'm not voicing everyone in that game, but anyone, right?
There are 77 characters in that game.
Yeah.
Take from that all you need.
Oh, dear. I think it's only getting better, and I really do appreciate all the comments from people offering advice in bits and places, and it's getting easier now. I've now managed to get my hand on Fraps, which means I can capture footage from PC games, and also it's another way of capturing footage from other places without having to do this complex flash conversion process. I'll be honest, one of my main goals when I do move on to Blip or some other site that can get me some revenue is to try and get a DVD recorder when I can justify it, so I can get my own footage rather than having to rely on YouTube walkthroughs, which, sad but true, that's what I have to do most of the time.
Yeah, I remember having to go to someone else's walkthrough to do my lines for Ogre Battle.
Yeah, that was the same walkthrough I used the footage of. That's why there's a long list of credits of footage provided by it. It's because at the moment I do not have the money or the technology to record my own. It's sad but true. But yeah, that's one of my main goals in the future. That and getting my hands on a PlayStation 2 so I can expand my range of games I can review and experience, if that makes any sense.
Well, that's a good goal to have, even just for the fact that it's, you know, a PlayStation 2, always rated the best video game system ever.
That's true.